Welcome to Second Unitarian Church. I'm Pat McKenna, a member of the Board of Trustees, and my pronouns are she and her. Today we're in person at the 2U Sanctuary and at the Admiral, where Judy Blumberg is substituting, and we're continuing to meet virtually using Zoom. We're glad you're here, whichever way you're attending. If you're in the sanctuary and would benefit from noise-canceling headphones, we have one pair for adults and one for children. Please see the tech team in the back. As we navigate varying needs for health and wellness, particularly related to COVID, we welcome you to wear a mask. We have masks available at the table as you enter the building. We especially welcome newcomers and visitors this morning. Finding a new community, making new connections can be challenging. Please know we are excited to have you, and we look forward to getting to know you. During coffee hour, you can find beverages in the Palmer Room, right outside the sanctuary, and snacks in the loft upstairs. One way to get to know new people and see old friends as well is to help with cleanup in the kitchen following coffee hour, and we can always use more hands. Friends, we want to remind everyone that the sounds of children are always welcome during our service. Our worship today is led by Harris McKee, longtime member and the person usually in charge of the Admiral participation, along with Laura McKee as worship associate. Music is provided by the music department. Our time together requires a large group of people who make possible the worship, religious education, music, and technical production. As we greet our neighbor this morning, let us do so with a fist bump. And this is the time to greet your neighbor.
Together we share, and from this we live.
We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children, youth, and adults, a people of many beliefs and traditions, bound not by the specific list of things we believe, but by the values we share, where we keep love at the center. Whether you're joining us for the first time or the 1000th time, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God some of the time, none of the time, or all of the time, you are welcome here. Whatever your race, whomever you love, however you move in the world, however much money is in your pocket, you are welcome here. I invite you, when you're ready, to take a breath in and out. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our congregational hymn, number 123 in the gray hymnal, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Stay in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the
risen and join me in reciting our covenant. We covenant to build a community that challenges us to grow and empowers us to honor the truth within ourselves. We will be generous with our gifts and honest in our communication, holding faithful to a love that embraces both diversity and conflict. Called by our living tradition, we will nurture spirituality within a vision of the eternal, living out our inner convictions through struggles for justice and acts of compassion.
You may be seated. In just a moment, Malachi here in the sanctuary and Tammy at the Admiral will light our chalices, the symbol of our faith. We light our chalices this morning with these words from Mary Oliver in a poem titled, "The Sun." Have you ever seen anything in your life more wonderful than the way the sun every evening, relaxed and easy, floats toward the horizon and into the clouds or the hills or the rumpled sea and is gone? And how it slides again out of the blackness every morning on the other side of the world like a red flower. Streaming upward on its heavenly oils, say on a morning in early summer at its perfect imperial distance, have you ever felt for anything such wild love? Do you think there is anywhere in any language a word billowing enough for the pleasure that fits you as the sun reaches out as it warms you as you stand there empty-handed? Or have you too turned from this world? Or have you too gone crazy with power for things? Each year, we all make a commitment.
It's time for all ages first. Guess we got that. It's missing from the script.
Yes.
The production team is that. It's time for the story for all ages.
Hi. I would invite everybody who is young to come forward and those who are young at heart. And I know there are a lot of you out there. Come on up forward. You don't have to sit on the floor though, Judy. I can prove that I can do it. Well, I don't know. To me, it's like gloating because I can't lately. I used to be very good at that because I was a preschool teacher. Do you guys remember when a few months ago we had a music Sunday and you guys came up with a song? Do you remember? Came up with words for the song? Anyway, if you may not have been here, but those words for that song were sort of like a poem. You know, a lot of songs the lyrics are poetry. And today we're talking about poetry. And one thing I like about poetry is that in just a few words, just a few sentences, you can talk about a particular feeling. Now, I want you to listen to this poem, and I want you guys to think about what feelings they make you feel, okay? So, this first poem is Bubbles by Sarah Jones, and it goes like this. Bubbles by Sarah Jones. Bubbles floating high, gleaming colors in the sky, joy in every pop, never wanting them to stop. Now, what do you think of when you think of that poem? Does that make you sad? Oh, it makes you what? Happy. Happy, yes, it makes you happy. And what else does it make? Anything else that it evokes in you? Do you like the thought of running after bubbles and trying to catch them and trying to pop them? Yeah, yeah. So then, just those few words, she gave us a feeling of the excitement and joy of blowing bubbles. Now, yes? Happy, yes, yes. I love bubbles. The second poem is The Lost Kitten. The Lost Kitten. You have two kittens? Yeah. A, ki- a lost kitten. A kitten all alone, crying with a mournful tone, lost and feeling small, yearning for its mother's call. Now, is that a happy poem? No. It's a sad poem. Yeah. Does it kind of remind us, too, of sometimes when we felt sad or lost or away from the people that we feel comfortable with? Yeah. Now, our last poem, these are all very short poems. So they give us a feeling really quickly, don't they? Okay, the third poem is The Dark Forest by Emily Green. The dark forest. Shadows creep among the trees, whispering secrets on the breeze. Heart pounding, footsteps slow. Through the dark forest we go. Now, what kinds of feelings does that poem give us? A little scared, yeah, yeah, not sure. Sort of like when Snow White was going through the forest, yeah, yeah. And, and kind of feeling scared about going into that forest. But do they go? Yes. So they summon up their courage and they go into that forest. Yes. So when the other thing I really like about poems is a lot of times they're silly. Yes. So when we'll be looking at lots of different poems and poetry, and I bet that you have read a lot of different poems at school and at home, and that sometimes they're really fun and giggly, and sometimes they're a little sad, and sometimes they're make us stronger and braver. So now let's sing the children back to their families because we're not having Sunday school today. Okay? Yes. Yes. Go now in peace. May the
Spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Each year, we make a commitment, a pledge to support the ministry of our church. In addition to this contribution each Sunday, we take a collection so that we can share with those doing justice beyond the church community. To make your contribution, you can send a text to the number on the screen, which will be up when the music begins, or can be found in your virtual order of service. For those of us in the sanctuary, we will pass the collection plate around. You are welcome to add your change, cash, or checks to the plates. For the month of July, we are sharing our plate with Unitarian Universalists across Illinois. Tina Donner will tell us a little about that organization.
morning, everyone. I'm Atina Danner. If you don't know me, I recently, it's been 6 months, took a position with the UUANI, which is the Unitarian Universalist Advocacy Network of Illinois. We are a statewide organization, and you may know our previous executive director, Reverend Scott Essang, has retired. He just retired, and so now we have myself and Natasha Walker, who came to preach here not too long ago on a Sunday to talk about what we do. And UUANI is a statewide network that empowers Unitarian Universalists and our adjacent friends and family and communities to build power to support the different values-aligned advocacy going on across the state. We have 3 pillars of ways into that work, which consist of resistance, electoral, and legislative. You might be familiar with our Actions of the Week. That is probably our most popular and well-known program, where we send out emails to people who are signed up for our email list, and you get something that you can do relatively soon, relatively easily. Most recently, it was a sign-up for a series of phone trainings. Before that, you get a lot of legislative calls, signing witness slips, call your representatives. We are an advocacy group. We are, nonpartisan, but also faith-based and values-aligned. And so Natasha and I are tasked with keeping all that moving in the absence of a very long-time executive director. I don't know if any of you work in nonprofits and know what happens when the ED leaves, but the longer they've been there, the more you gotta do. So we're working on keeping things, kind of maintaining, but also because of, the recent fascism and the electoral things coming up, one of our electoral initiatives will include putting on a Solidarity Summit. If you haven't heard of those, here I'm gonna read so that I say all the right things. Solidarity Summits are relational, interfaith, justice training, and practice gatherings. And it's an initiative of UU the Vote, which is part of the UUA, and part of the Ignite Solidarity, Reimagine Democracy campaign. Solidarity Summits are training and practice gatherings designed to strengthen the connections, skills, and capacities needed for this moment. We're really trying to meet the moment right now. We don't have a lot of resources. Combined, Natasha and I are 1/3 time situation. So we had to do a lot with a little bit of time, and so that's one of the reasons why your contributions will be so important. The less we have to spend time trying to get money, the more we can spend time focused on the advocacy, bringing programs to you, bringing opportunities to you. Because our capacity is kind of low right now, just maintaining operations and getting a little bit of stuff done, one of the things that we've done is really focus energy towards our website. And so since I've started, we've created a blog, which we occasionally put things on. We have action strategy calendars. I didn't say this, my role is action strategy director for UUANI, and so now we have a set of action strategy calendars that focus on those 3 pillars: resistance, electoral, and legislative. And we also have one for our partners. Our partners are one of the driving forces that keep us moving, because we don't do direct service into the community. We follow the lead of our partners who are already embedded in the community. They are a part of those communities. They know what is needed. We have partners like the Live Free, that is abolitionist. We have partners like Drum, which is wider for our BIPOC UUs. A lot of things going on. I'm going to wrap it up anyway. So thank you for your generous contributions. Please go to the website. That's where you're going to get the most information. It's uuani.org, and you can find contact information, actions, trainings, all of that on the calendars, and sign up for Actions of the Week if you haven't already. Thank you so much.
Atina, thank you so much for helping us put our faith in action. If you'll join me in reading our offertory words. This church is the community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm it and enable its participation in the larger world around us. The offertory will now be gratefully received and generously given. Thank you, Kate. So nice to have you here playing piano. I invite you now into the spirit of prayer and meditation. The past is gone. The future is yet to be created by us. All there is now. Let us start by breathing together. Take a breath in and out. We are grateful for the beauty of being together. We hold in our hearts all those who are struggling, whether with internal struggles or material struggles with the world. For immigrants and refugees who are fleeing and seeking, finding new homes in our city, among many, we are with you. For the family of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo and all those grieving the loss of yet another needless life at the hands of ICE in Houston this week, we are with you. For all those fervently following the beautiful game and enjoying the miracle of human athletic achievements in the World Cup and at Wimbledon, we wish for you to accept the outcome of the games with appreciation for all the players and their talents, with joy and grace. We pray for all those living in harm's way. As war rages on in the Middle East, we pray for wisdom and compassion and a cessation of violence. Into this shared silence, I invite you to speak the name of anyone you wish to lift up into the loving support of this community. With our deepest compassion, let us hold in our hearts those named and unnamed, those remembered and those forgotten. Let it be so. Amen, and blessed be. During our ritual of lighting candles for joys and concerns, we want to continue to take care of one another. In the 2U sanctuary, you're invited to come forward and light a candle. As your time of contemplation and candle lighting ends, we invite you to use the hand sanitizer available. For those at the Admiral, I invite you to come forward and take a pebble from one bowl, hold it tightly, putting your energy into the stone, and then knowing your joys and sorrows to be shared by this community, let it go lightly into the other bowl. For those of us on Zoom, join us by sharing your joys and concerns in the chat window. these joys, celebrations, sorrows, and struggles close to our hearts. For those of you unfamiliar with Mary Oliver, whom you've already heard in the chalice lighting, we're indebted to Jim Leffensay, who provided a brief bio. Born in 1935 near Cleveland, Ohio, she attended Ohio State, then Vassar College. Taken by the work of Edna St. Vincent Millay, she dropped out to spend much of several years living and working at Steepletop with Millay's sister at Millay's Country House in upstate New York. Over a 5-year decade, she taught at colleges and universities, from Case Western Reserve to Bennington College in Vermont. She lived in Provincetown, Massachusetts, with her partner, the photographer Molly Malone Cook. Her 1983 collection, American Primitive, won the Pulitzer Prize, and her first New and Selected Poems, 1992, won the National Book Award. She passed away, revered, on January 17th, 2019. So our first reading from Mary Oliver is What I Have Learned So Far. Meditation is old and honorable. So why should I not sit every morning of my life on the hillside, looking into the shining world? Because, properly attended to, delight, as well as havoc, is suggestion. Can one be passionate about the just, the ideal, the sublime, and the holy, and yet commit no labor to the cause? I don't think so. All summations have a beginning. All effect has a story. All kindness begins with the sown seed. Thought buds toward radiance. The gospel of light is the crossroads of indolence, our action. Be ignited or be gone. Please rise in body or spirit to join in singing How Sweet the Darkness. Again, this is real rocker, so everybody follow.
Windows that are black and cold are lit anew with fires of gold. When dusk in quiet shall descend and darkness comes once more a friend, when wings pursue their proper flight and bring not terror or delight, when clouds are innocent again and hide no storms of deadly rain, and when the sky is swept in bones and cleaves by gentle moon and stars, that peaceful sky, that harmless air, how sweet the darkness there.
Our second reading is another Mary Oliver poem, Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things.
Sorry, it looks like I went out of order, but we'll just roll with that too, since I love that hymn so much. So I will take credit for getting my dad into the pulpit today. Thank you very much. It's not just because I'm on the worship support team, and we're always looking to fill the pulpit, as ministers can't always be here, and 2U has a long tradition of great lay services. But because my dad and my family are Unitarian Universalists, and he's shared about his religious journey in the past, I thought it would be interesting for him to share a more recent story. Let me provide a little bit of context. In case you hadn't noticed, I come from a long line of doers. Mom and Dad were always joining organizations, contributing heartily to them, even leading them, whether it was multiple UU congregations, choruses, Rotary clubs, tennis teams, kids' sports teams, even my high school orchestra parent organization. They started doing things together over 70 years ago, from delivering May Day baskets in 1953 to giving a co-valedictorian address at Indianola High School in 1957. When Mom stopped being able to do so many things as a result of Alzheimer's, my dad had to develop a whole new way of being with her. His engineering brain was never one that I would have imagined would enjoy so much poetry and song. But perhaps Dad took this as a problem to be solved. And I think he solved it beautifully, with the result being that they both enjoyed the last years of my mom's life, just in a different and in some ways more meaningful way. Dad is going to share with you some of the ways he connected with Mom, got her brow to furrow, saw her eyebrows raise, got smiles and sometimes laughs and hums. For me, this service is an opportunity for each of us to ask ourselves, what if we found new ways of relating to the people we loved? What if we stopped the constant drive to get what we wanted, get to the next event, do the next task, be somewhere else, and just spent some precious moments being together? As Mary Oliver says, what is it you plan to do with your one precious life?
One hour a day. From the time Mary first left our apartment in the independent living at the Admiral and went to skilled nursing in 2019, I visited her at least an hour each day or brought her to the various activities available at the Admiral. Of course, from 2020 to 2021, there were COVID restrictions that made the possible only sporadically with Zoom or other measures like socially distant visits. When Mary's physical condition had deteriorated, probably exacerbated by isolation, she was unable to converse, but she could indicate her enjoyment at the input I provided. I began to spend the hour reading poetry and singing to her. I often divided the time about half and half between reading and singing. She expressed pleasure in both. Here's a little background. As I mused on those hours, it occurred to me that I had started preparing for them years ago. In grade school, I participated in Bible reading contests at presbytery level. High school contests in interpretive reading were further training, and women's Christian temperance speech contests were another outlet. Singing practice paralleled the speech activities. I sang a series of soprano solos in 6th grade, accompanying a Christmas pageant in our one-room country school. Church choirs and high school choruses further moved me down the path of reading and singing to Mary. Mary was also a singer, and we both had sung in church choirs all of our married life. Joining 2U's choir was one of the first steps when we moved to Chicago in 2017. The presentation. One thing I noticed was how comforting a regular ritual is. Our time together became a ritual for me. A favorite poet of ours was Mary Oliver. I still have a one-page Mary Oliver poster on my desk. It's titled Instructions for Living a Life and gives just 3. Pay attention. Be astonished. Tell about it. This morning, I'd like to share with you several Mary Oliver poems and then a few songs provided a synopsis of the times I spent with Mary. I believe these poems mostly speak for themselves. I simply chose Mary Oliver as my poet to share and then read poems in sequence from her book. Unitarians don't have an official poet laureate, but Mary Oliver must surely qualify at least as honorary poet laureate. Her poems were even published by the Beacon Press, the UUA publishing house. Similarly, the songs I sang a cappella were just familiar songs from an old songbook. Mary particularly liked Thanks for the Memory. Thanks for the memory of candlelight and wine, castles on the Rhine, the path that on and moments on the Hudson River line. How lovely it was. Thanks for the memory of rainy afternoons, swinging Harlem tunes, and motor trips and burning chips and burning toast and prunes. How lovely it was. Many time they fasted, and many the time we fasted. Oh, well, it was swell while it lasted. We did have fun and none harm done, and thanks for the memory of sunshine at the shore, nights in Singapore. You might have been a heartache, but you never were a bore. So thank you so much. Thank you. The second poem, The Summer Day. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean. The one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, What else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? There's another Mary Oliver poem, Some Questions You Might Ask. Is the soul solid like iron? Or is it tender and breakable like the wings of a moth and the beak of an owl? Who has it? And who doesn't? I keep looking around me. The face of the moose is as sad as the face of Jesus. The swan opens her white wings slowly. In the fall, the black bear carries leaves into the darkness. One question leads to another. Does it have a shape like an iceberg, like the eye of a hummingbird? Does it have one lung like the snake and the scallop? Why should I have it and not the anteater who loves her children? Why should I have it and not the camel? Come to think of it, what about the maple trees? What about the blue iris? What about the little stones sitting alone in the moonlight? What about the roses and lemons and their shining leaves? What about the grass? These poems were a sentimental journey for us, and I often sang that to Mary as well. Sentimental journey. Gonna take a sentimental journey, gonna set my heart at ease, gonna make a sentimental journey to renew old memories. 7, that's the time we leave at 7. I'll be waiting up for heaven, counting every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart could be so yearny. Why did I decide to roam? Gonna take the sentimental journey home. Thank you. You might find this next poem a bit morbid, but clearly Mary Oliver did not. And as an octogenarian, it's a reality that we think of these things. Maybe it's even more helpful for you to think of them at this point in your life. The title of this Mary Oliver poem is When Death Comes. When death comes like the hungry bear in autumn, when death comes and takes all the bright light from his purse, bright coins from his purse to buy me and snaps the purse shut, when death comes like the measles pox, when death comes like an iceberg between the shoulder blades, I want to step through the door full of curiosity, wondering what is going to be like that cottage of darkness. And therefore I look forward upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and I look upon time as no more than an idea, and I consider eternity as another possibility. And I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy and as singular, and each name a comfortable music in the mouth, tending, as all music does, towards silence. And each body a lion of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life, I was a bride married in amazement. I was a bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this earth. I have two song selections to follow that as two alternatives suggested by that poem. The first is Let There Be Peace on Earth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that I press to be. Let there be peace begin with me. Let there be just a moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. Let me walk in my brother in peace and harmony. Take this moment and live with me in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And finally, a song that may be familiar to many of you, My Way. And now the end is near, and so I face the final moment. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, and which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full, I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, and then again too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exception. I planned each cluttered course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I set off more than I could chew, but through it all, and there was none, I did it up and get it out. I faced it still, and I stood tall, and did it my way. Please join us in body and spirit to join in singing our closing hymn.
We'll sing this just 3 times. The first 2 times with the I, me pronouns, and the last time with the us, we pronouns. Hopefully they're on the... There we go. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding on. We rest in this love. We rest in this love.
I invite you to rest your hands upon your heart or clasp hands with those around you and hear these words. One day you finally knew what you had to do and began, though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations through their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough, and a wild night and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company. As you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. As we come to the close of our service, Laura will extinguish our chalice, even as we keep the light of our faith alive within us. Go in peace.